Hey there, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for being here. And I just wanted to say first, I've been off for a couple of weeks and I needed that refreshment and that rest. And so now I'm back and I wanted to talk about something that seems to be coming up a lot lately for my clients, and it's around consistency and exercise. And so today I'm talking about the three signs that your workout plan isn't working, or how to know if it's not that your plan isn't working, it's just that you need just like a couple of small course corrects. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to chatting. So thinking about a workout plan, whether it's working or isn't working, I think that's a little too black and white, because it when you have some sort of plan, exercise plan, workout plan, whatever it is, fitness plan, life movement plan, whatever it is, when you have a plan, sometimes it gets a little black and white, right? Like this is what happens with me is I'll have, well, I'm a planner. If you've listened to any time, you know this. I am a planner. So I will lay out my schedule. Um, I will lay it out sometimes for 2 weeks in advance. So I pretty much know what workout's going to happen on what day. And that's fine. That works for me. Let's call it 90% of the time. But but what happens sometimes is that either A, we get bored, right? We just get bored. And that is a sign that it's not that your workout plan isn't working. It's a sign that maybe it's time to do maybe a little adjustment, a little change, something new. Because let's think about this two ways. One of them is that we get bored. I mean, we'll get bored if we're doing the same thing again and again and again, right? Um, it's good to have habits, but it's not good to be so habitual that like it's rote, right? You're just going through the movements. And the other thing is that when it comes to exercise, when we do the same thing again and again and again, our bodies get used to it. And we two things happen on there. One of them is that it takes less effort, right? It's just the same thing, the same movement again and again and again. And our minds aren't as engaged, right? Like all of a sudden, instead of having to think about whether it's weights or whatever it is that you're doing, instead of having to really think about it and pay attention, we can do it on autopilot. And once we can do something on autopilot, we start losing some of the benefits. Because, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, structural, physical, mental. I mean, there's just a whole lot of reasons that we'll start losing the benefit. But one of them is that when we can focus on what it is that we're doing, then our mind actually engages our body. So the two of them are working together in tandem, and we get more benefit out of what we're doing. So So when we get to that point where we're just kind of like going through the motions, it's a good time to stop and just reassess. Just stop. It doesn't take long. It could take a week. It could take 2 days. But just stop for a moment and reassess. Because when you're bored or feeling like something's same old, then that's a time to say, let me slow down, let me reassess my plan, let me see if I want to try something different, right? I mean, I know that personally, I do like switching it up. Um, there are certain things that I've done consistently for years. Last year, threw everything out the window, and so I had to completely rechange how I did stuff. And some of it worked, some of it didn't, right? Like, I mean, bottom line, I found out that without weights, I don't do as well, like when I didn't go to the gym, physically, as I do when I do go to the gym. So that's a learning process for me. But that was just like one little piece, but it was a whole lot of different things that I learned. So if you start finding that you're bored, then instead of throwing everything out, stop, give yourself a couple of days of rest. Like just stop. It's okay. It's okay to miss a few days of exercise. It really is. Um, and just rethink it. What do you like? What don't you like? because, of course, we will always do things so much better when we are enjoying them than when we're just having to do them. I mean, it is anything in life, right? We know this, and workouts are no different. And along those same lines, another thing, another sign that's kind of like 1.5 is be okay with being imperfect. Okay? If you're hitting it 90% of the time, hitting your fitness goals, doing what you say you're going to do 90% of the time, you are a rock star. Okay? If you're doing it 80% of the time, then you're doing better than most of us do in our workouts. Okay. So give yourself a little bit of grace in there. And you've probably heard me say that 1,000 times this last year, but it's true. I was talking to a client just this last week, I think, and she had missed a workout. She'd missed one of her weekend runs. And I said, oh, so what happened? Like, I wanted to know, like, why did you miss it? And there were a lot of excuses, but then in the end, she's like, you know what? It just didn't work for me. Just didn't work for me. And now I feel awful. So my suggestion was just stop with the, hey, or end it when you just said, it just didn't work for me. You know what? Sometimes things just don't work. So stop and be done with it. Don't beat yourself up for not doing it. Okay. Because when we're focusing on our health and we're focusing on our well-being and our vitality and all the things that we love, um, being excited and being happy about it is part of a winning plan. Okay. It comes back to when you find yourself feeling a little bored, then stop and reassess. How can you make this more fun? So that's one sign. Instead of saying, I'm bored, this isn't working, stop and ask yourself, how can I make this more fun? What could I do that would make this more interesting, more effective, more exciting, or maybe even easier? And when I say easier, I don't mean like, um, let's go less, let's do less, or let's lift less, or whatever it is, that kind of easier. It's like, how can I make this work in my schedule and make it easier for me in my life? Because when it's not working in our life, like when things become arduous, then it then becomes kind of a drag, right? So back to the fun thing. I can give you an example from my life. This week, I've got a really busy week. It's super busy. And Monday, which was yesterday, I'm recording this on Tuesday. So Monday was yesterday. And Sunday evening, I'm sitting there and I'm going over my schedule for the upcoming week. I'm, working out my workout plan. I'm, putting it all together because I like to do that on Sunday just so I know what's going to happen in the coming